Hey everybody, it's been a while since I've been on to share. Um, Last year I was on holidays and lost my phone, so I haven't been able to figure out how I get on to my YouTube site. So I've just been trying to figure that out. Um, but yeah, I just thought I'd come on and share something that's close to my heart. And probably about 1993 when I realized that I had a problem. Checked myself into a treatment center. Um, I was there for a month, learned lots, but I wasn't ready to give up the drinking. So it wasn't until 1994 that I realized that I had a problem and I needed to do something about it. So I want to just share a little bit about that with you and my journey. That was August 22nd, 1994, that I realized I had a problem, and I was living with a buddy at the time, and my world was literally falling apart. My marriage was over, and I felt like such a failure. The shame and the guilt that I felt. I always thought that I'd be married forever, and I didn't want to make the mistakes that my parents made, and so when I realized my marriage was over, I kind of went on a downward spiral and really started hitting the drinking heavier. And so I want to share a little bit about that because August 23rd, 1994, I decided I needed to do something. And I just celebrated 30 years of sobriety. And I want to share with you that when I started this journey, I didn't think I would make it 30 seconds, let alone 30 years. I spent most of my life drowning the pain and drowning the sorrow. That's how I cope with things in my life that went on. I drank. Probably from the time I was 9 years old. I can remember having my first drink and how it made me feel and how it gave me courage, and it just stuffed everything that I was dealing with so I didn't have to feel. I didn't have to do anything. And all through my life, that's how I dealt with my problems. And I just stuffed it. Didn't want to deal with it. Just wanted to kill the pain, so I drank. I'm doing this video because there's so many people out there right now that don't believe in themselves. Don't believe that they can quit drinking. Don't believe that they can quit doing the drugs. And they're so full of shame and guilt that they don't know what to do with themselves, so they just give up. And I'm here to tell you today, don't give up. I was one of those people that didn't believe in myself, that was so full of shame and guilt that it almost killed me. Some of the stuff I'm going to share with you, I only share it with you because I want you to know that this is where I came from. Through my journey, I always wanted to go back to school. And this is how great God is. So right now I'm going back to school, and I just finished a course that was on worldview. Basically, it was a study to help us to think about where we came from, why we think the way we do, why we believe the things that we believe, and then how we can share that with people. and how we can be confident in what we believe is to be the truth. So I say these things, and I don't hide anything from anybody. See, growing up, I knew nothing about my father, his struggles, nothing. I knew nothing about him. So I promised myself that I would not be like that, that I would share as much as I could with my kids and everybody else that God crossed my path with. And why do I do that? Because I want them to know that they're not the only ones, and that I'm here today to say to them that they could do it and they can get through everything they're going through, because I'm here right now. And through my life, many people have asked me, how do you know there's a God? And all I can say to them is, I know there's a God because I'm here talking to you right now. I should have been dead a long time ago. All the things I struggle with in my life, all the drinking and driving and passing out at the wheel, all the times I woke up and I didn't know where I was, falling asleep at the bus stop, walking home after tying one on downtown where I lived. Those times when I was hospitalized because I drank too much. Those times I keeled over in so much pain because my liver was getting messed up. Those times the doctor said, Randy, if you don't quit, you're going to die. Your liver's not going to make it. Those times that I just wanted to drive my car into a cement wall because I just had enough. I was tired. Those times I cried myself to sleep at night and just prayed to God that he would just take me home. And I'm sorry if I get a little emotional. You know, I've been through a lot. And why do I do what I do? Why do I say what I say today to people? It's because I love them. And because I believe wholeheartedly that they can do it. Because I did it. That's why I do what I do. That's why I went back to school. You know, life's a journey. Life isn't easy, and it's not going to be easy. But I had to take all the things that I learned in my treatments, through my counseling for most of my life, and put it to use. And most of all, I had to believe in myself, and I had to believe in somebody bigger than me. There's somebody bigger than us out there, and I just choose to call that person God. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be the father that I am today. Am I perfect? No, I make mistakes, and I still do. But I pick myself up and say, okay, what can I learn from this? You know, I used to ask why all the time. I don't ask why, I ask what can I do to change this situation? How can I change the way I look at things? How can I change the way I look at myself and others? And these are some of the things that I'm learning in this course that I just took. How can we speak what we believe in love and compassion, not in judgment? So at that time in August 22nd, when I checked myself in detox, I realized I had a problem and I had to do something because I didn't want to die. But I just didn't know how to do it. So I can remember going to the liquor store that day and nobody was home, it was just myself. And you know, for many years, I tried to do it on my own and I failed miserably. And those times that I tried to do it God's way, I did fine. For years, I quit drinking. For 4 or 5 years, I quit drinking. And then certain things happened in my life and I just sort of gave up. So here I was sitting in the detox center And I just got off the phone with my wife at the time. She told me it was over. And I just lost it. And you know, I could never understand God's unconditional love because I never had it in my life. Everything was based on my performance, as I probably shared in many of my videos. There was no unconditional love. With my mother, my dad, yes, when I met him when I was in high school. But my mother, no. Everything was based on my performance. So that's how I looked at God. I looked at God as somebody that when we did something wrong, he would punish us. He would strike us dead or whatever, I thought. And I had a doctor who was a Christian, and he used to say to me, Randy, why are you so hard on yourself? Remember God's grace. I couldn't understand what he was saying. I used to walk out of there so frustrated. Until that day. I can remember before I checked myself into detox, I was in my room and I was just ready to end it, and I had the pills in my hand. And this is how I know there was a God. My roommate at the time came in the room just as I had the pills in my hand. And he said, Randy, got a phone call, and it was from another friend. And just before that, I can remember a little voice came in my head. It was my doctor, and what he said to me, he says, Randy, remember God's grace. Why are you so hard on yourself? So when I say to people, don't stop caring, don't stop saying things to those people that are struggling with addictions. Because it may be something that you said to them, that the light will come on. They'll hear that little small voice saying something that John said or Randy said or whoever said. And the light may come on and give them hope. And it may stop them from injecting that crap in their body or taking that drink or taking that pill. So don't stop caring. Don't stop sharing with people your love for them and your belief that they're going to do it. Because one day something that you might say when they're ready to take their life, the light may came on and it might stop them from doing that. It might give them hope. So don't stop caring. And I tell this to parents, I tell this to people that are dealing with family or friends with addictions. Just love them. Tell them you believe in them. Because it's not a waste. It's not a waste. Then you know at the end of the day you did everything you could. And the rest is their choice. And have faith that God's going to be with them and protect them. Because he was with me every moment that I was doing everything I did. The times I drove and I passed out at the wheel and something woke me up. The times I woke up at the bus stop. The times I had to sleep in my car 40 below weather because I had nowhere to go. The times when I just wanted to die and stop breathing. He gave me life. So here I am sitting in the detox. And I called the counselor over and I said, listen, I need to talk to you. He said, well, give me a minute. So I'm sitting in this room, and it was a small room. And, some of you may think I'm nuts, and that's fine. It doesn't matter to me what you think. This is what I experienced, and I believe it was from God. It was divine. And all of a sudden, the room lit up. And I saw Jesus there, and he was holding out his hand. He said, Randy, I don't care what you done, who you slept with. Take my hand. I will walk with you. We'll get through this together. Because I could never understand God's character, his love, his unconditional love until that very moment. And that changed my life forever. I believe the reason why people struggle, even people without addictions, people that have faith in God, struggle because they don't understand God's character. They don't understand his unconditional love. He loves us no matter who we are and what we do. He died for us, for our past, present, and future sins. And nothing's going to change that. And man, that's hard to believe. Because I believed that nobody could love me. I believed I was the most awful person in the world. The things I did, the things I said, the lies I told. How could anybody love somebody like me? And that day, I experienced something that changed my life forever. And I pray that every day for those that are struggling, that they will have that experience. Because I believe until people realize how much they're loved, not only by God, but by their family, their friends, nothing's going to change. And that day, even before I had the experience in my room, I got down on my knees and I said, Lord, I surrender. I surrender. I give you everything. I can't do it anymore. I've messed up my life. I've tried to do it on my own and I've just made a mess of it. I've screwed my marriage up. I had kids. I felt like such a failure to them. The hardest thing I ever had to do was to tell them that Dad's not coming home. And even to this day, I get emotional because I love my kids so much. And some people say I don't recommend this. But I also did this for my kids because I didn't have a dad growing up most of my life. And I didn't want my kids growing up with a dad, not having a dad. I didn't want them to go through what I had to go through. So that's another reason why I quit. Because I wanted to be all that God created me to be. And that was the start of my journey. That was the start of my journey. Was it easy? Has it been easy? No, I still have my moments. I'm not perfect. God is still molding and shaping me. But it's a joy because I'm learning so much about myself and so much about others. Did I believe in myself before? No. So that day, I went into my bed, my room. I looked myself in the mirror and I said, hi, I'm Randy. I'm an alcoholic and I want to live. Was that easy? No. But I had to admit that I had a problem and I had to say what that problem was. Hi, I'm Randy. I'm a drug addict. Hi, I'm Randy. I'm an alcoholic. Whatever it is, you have to admit it. You have to say it. Speak it. It's got to come out of your mouth. And you got to totally surrender. Totally, 100%. Every area of your life, your finances, your job. I was a functioning alcoholic. I was able to keep my job. Thank God. Some people haven't. They've lost everything. But I had to admit, which was the hardest thing, that my life was a mess and I needed somebody bigger than me, and that person was God. And I had to get on my knees and cry out to him and say, Lord, I've had it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I totally surrender. You take over. Because I was making a mess of it. So I got my stuff, and I don't recommend this for everybody. But when I believe strongly in something, I believe it. And it gives me strength. And I'm able to do anything that God has given me to do. And I just do it. I walked out of there. And I can remember the counselor running after me. Randy, what are you doing? I'm leaving. He says, well, statistics say And I said, you know what? Forgive me. I said, you can stuff those statistics up. You know what? And I walked out. And I put things in place. I started to go to counseling appointments. I still go for counseling. Every now and then I need a tune-up. Sometimes I need to get back to reality. So, was it easy? No. My marriage was over. I was living alone. Man, it was lonely. It was a lonely feeling. Going home to an empty house and crying myself to sleep because I couldn't talk to my kids every day like I used to. I couldn't go take them to bed. I couldn't do any of that. So here I was. I had to start all over again. I probably had the emotions of a 15-year-old. I didn't know what was right. I didn't know if it was normal to feel this way. And I can remember asking the counselors all the time, what's normal? How am I supposed to feel? Is it normal to be angry? Is it normal to be sad? And she asked me, why do you ask that? Because I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I don't know if what I'm feeling is normal. I don't know if it's okay to cry because I was told it's not. Real men don't cry. Or stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. So I had to do a lot of work. And I'm still working on it. And it's a good thing. I'm learning something new every day about myself. And I know there are going to be times when I'm going to have struggles. There are going to be times when I have disappointment and I have hurt. But I take everything I've learned, and most of all, I just give it to God. He doesn't give us more than we can handle. And I had to believe that. And everything I've gone through in my life, from the physical, the sexual abuse, the mental abuse, all the stuff that I've been through in my life, there was a reason why I went through it. And I used to ask, why, Lord? Why did I have to go through it? Because it made me who I am today. It made me understand those that are going through it. And I can feel their pain and understand their pain. And I can relate with it because I've been there. If I hadn't gone through all the stuff I went through in my life, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today. So for that, I'm grateful. Was it hard? Yeah, it was hard. Does it hurt sometimes? Yeah, it hurts. I'm 60-something years old, and there are times when I watch a show and I see the way a mother relates with their son, and I cry because I didn't have that. But that's okay. It's okay. I can get through it. I've made it this far. And that's why it's important to me to let my kids know and let my nieces and nephews know how much I love them. My sister, my brother, my cousins, whoever it is. God's taught me some valuable lessons that we need to let those that we love know that we love them and that we believe in them. There's so many people that God's crossed my path with that are struggling right now. And it breaks my heart. I can't save the world. But I want them to know that Randy cares and Randy loves them. And that Randy believes in them. Most of all, God believes in them. And that if they turn it over to God, He'll take care of it. He'll change their life forever like He changed mine. And I can look you right now in this camera and say, I believe that with my whole heart. And I'll believe that to the day I die. That's how I know there's a God. Because I shouldn't be here. And here I am in my 60s. I've gone through so many different phases in my life. I had a fall, broke 4 ribs, messed up a lung. I've always wanted to go back to school, but I was too afraid. I didn't think I could do it. I thought I was stupid. And here I am. I'm almost done, people. I'm almost done my school. I can't believe it. Thank God. I'm not stupid. I got a 3-point-something grade point average. I'm getting A's that I never got in school except for PE and, the beer parlor. But God's helped me. When I first started this thing, I didn't think, I said to my wife, I can't do this. There's no way. I'm not smart enough. And I just finished my 8th course. I got 2 more to do. So when I had that fall, I realized life's too short. And God put me on this earth for a reason. And that's to tell my story. And to be able to relate with people that are struggling with addiction, struggling with childhood abuse, whatever it is, sexual abuse, alcohol, drugs, whatever. Because I've been through it. I know what it's like to be the lowest of the lowest. Like I said earlier, my life was so low, I just prayed to God that he would take me home. I didn't want to live anymore. I felt like such a failure. And now here I stand and here I sit before you to tell my story. To tell you, you can do it also. God's given you a purpose in your life. Find that purpose like I found mine and run with it. And get that support groups in your life. Most of all, get God in your life. Jesus says he is the way, the truth, and the life. He's given me truth. He's given me life. He's shown me the way. Am I perfect? No, I'm not perfect. Do I make mistakes every day? Yeah, I do. Do I get frustrated and angry? Yeah, I get frustrated and angry. And that's okay. Am I learning stuff? Yeah, I'm still learning. Do I have to humble myself? Yeah, every day I have to humble myself. But God's still there and he still loves me. So why do I do this? This is because I love people. I want to tell the world that there's hope. If I can do it, you can do that. Like I said, I never thought that I could get through this school, and I'm almost done, people. Almost done. Am I proud of myself? Yeah, but I don't go too far. I have to be humble. I got to stay humble. I thank my wife for standing beside me. I thank my friend Rob. I thank my friend Mel and all those people in Francis that have prayed for me. My cousins that have prayed for me. Pray that God would give me the strength and the courage and the faith in myself to get through this. And I know that a lot of these people that I deal with, you know who you are. You know I love you. And you know I believe in you. And it breaks my heart to see you like this. And you know who you are. And I hope you watch this video. And I hope you know how much you're loved. And it would be a waste if you were to do something that you know you shouldn't do. Don't give up. Just keep fighting. But remember, it's not your strength. It's the strength that God gives you. We can't do it on our own. We can't. It's humanly impossible to do it in our own strength because we're going to fall every time. just get on your knees or just whatever. Just surrender. Give it to God, man. Give it to him, please. Because you too could be doing what I'm doing today. Something that I never believed I would be doing right now. Sorry, guys, but you know, it's never too late to learn. Like I said, I've been in counseling most of my life. And there were times in my life where the counselors used to try to help me understand how to embrace that little Randy. And I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. I shared with you earlier about how I learned how to love the adult Randy. Well, I was in a counseling appointment one day, and my counselor knew how important my faith was, and she'd always try to bring me back and get me focused. And she'd tell me, close my eyes. Well, I had a vision of this little Randy running through a crowd of people. I didn't know who these people were at first, but these people were all the people that hurt me in my life. And in the background, there was somebody way in the distance. I didn't know who it was. All I know, I was running to this person. And that person, as I got closer and closer, I realized that it was God. And the tears were streaming down his eyes. And he said, sorry, Randy, I'm sorry what you had to go through. And he had his arms open and he embraced me. He embraced that little Randy. I was 60-something years old when I experienced that. So it's never too late. The Bible says, be still, drop it, let it go, give it to God. And every day I have to learn to do that. Because some days I get so frustrated the way the world's going, and the way people treat each other, the way I get treated. And sometimes the way I treat people. Here I was in my 60s, and I think, man, God, you got a funny sense of humor. But I was willing to do the work. I was willing to say, okay, God, what is it that you want to say to me today, even in my 60s? And that day he showed me. And I always knew, and these things aren't easy to talk about. But I really don't care what people think of me or whatever. I don't care. I'm as transparent as they come. Maybe too transparent, but that's okay. I got nothing to hide. I want to be real. I want to tell people about my struggles. I want to tell people about my victories. So that night I had a dream. And maybe I shouldn't share this, but it's okay. It's okay. I had a dream. I was probably 2, 3 years old, and most of my early childhood I blocked out. I don't remember a lot about it. Bits and pieces. Somebody came in my room and put their hand in my throat and my mouth and told me to be quiet. And the rest of the story. I learned that. I knew my whole life that something happened to me as a child, but I didn't know what it was. I don't know who it was, and it doesn't matter. But God showed me. Did I need to know? Yes, maybe, I don't know, but he showed me. Maybe because I needed to get closure in some things in my life that I've been working on most of my life to get me ready to do my addiction counseling course, to get in touch with some things that I've stuffed for so many years and I didn't know I was stuffing them. So God can work on anybody at any age. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter how young you are. If you just allow him and be still and let him speak to you and be willing to say, okay, Lord, I surrender. I can't do this on my own. So It's never too late to learn about yourself. It's never too late. So what do I do with that? I don't ask why God it happened. I ask what can I do with that? What can I learn from it? What is it that he's trying to tell me? Maybe he's just trying to tell me that he's put bits and pieces in my life to get me ready for the next chapter of my life, which is probably what it is. And it's okay. So now, from the time I quit drinking till now, I never ask why, I ask what. Like I said earlier, what can I do to change the way I feel? The biggest thing is to get in touch with your feelings. The biggest thing is to know that there's somebody bigger than you. And another thing is to love yourself and believe in yourself. And that ain't easy. It takes work. Tons of work. For the rest of our life. That's okay. It's okay. I will be working on myself for the rest of my life. And that is okay. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. So that's why I share the things I share. Because I believe wholeheartedly if God can change me, he can change anybody. Anybody. If we just allow him. If we just let him into our lives. If we just surrender. I can't emphasize that any more than I had to surrender. Totally surrender every area of my life. And sometimes I take it back. Sometimes I try to do things on my own. And I fail, and I know that, and I still do it. And when I do that, things don't go the way they do. But I always know God loves me, and he's always going to be with me. He doesn't like what I do sometimes, but I know he still loves me. And he still wants to teach me. But you got to be teachable. You got to want to be still. You got to take the time to pray. You got to take the time to read his word. You got to take the time to find a place to go, just to be still and listen to nature and enjoy the things that he created in order to heal. So life is good. Life can be good if we just believe in God and we believe in ourselves. Because I didn't think that I could last 30 seconds, let alone 30 years. I felt like I lost my best friend. I can remember at 9, 10 years old, having my first drink and how it made me feel. I was outstanding in my field. I could do everything. I could talk to women, girls, I could do everything when I had some drink in me. Now I don't need that. I can talk to anybody. I was so shy, I was so unsure of myself, no self-esteem, nothing. I didn't believe I could do anything. I couldn't go into a room with lots of people because I didn't know what to say or do. I was the life of the party when I was drinking. Oh boy, I had lots to say. I was a real clown. Many times made an ass of myself. But here I am now. I don't need it. I don't want it. And are there going to be times when we're going to have those urges? Yeah. In the 30 years that I've quit drinking, I've had 3 times where it's been bad. And the biggest challenge in my life is when my brother died. I can remember sitting in the parking lot at a pub, just wanting to give up. I missed him so much. So what did I do? I sat in my truck, I picked up the phone, I called a friend. And I talked to him for an hour and a half or so, and I cried. And I worked through it. And I got through it. I didn't give up. I didn't give in to the lies saying that it's never going to change. So, the dirty way we think, we used to think. I don't think that way anymore. Because I know if I go back to the drinking, then then what hope is there for the people that I've been talking to for the last 30 years? What hope is there for my niece, my nephews? What hope is there for my kids? What hope is there for the people that I've been dealing with that are dealing with addictions? If Randy can't do it, I can't do it. So that's why I do what I do. Because I love them. I love my kids. I love my nieces and nephews. And I want them to know that they can do it also, whatever they're struggling with. And those other people, God's blessed me with so many people in my life. And I'm going to say their names right now, and God forgive me. I hope I don't embarrass them or whatever. But I think of Ben, I think of Darren, I think of Miranda. I think of those guys that didn't make it, we had 4 guys in my group, and 2 of us are left. The other ones are dead. I think of those people that I'm going to meet in my journeys, that God crossed my path. I think of Carla. All those young people that are struggling, not with just addictions, but with mental illness, whatever it is, that have lost hope. This is why I do what I do. This is why I keep on top of things in my life. Because I love them. I want to know. I want to be an example. Am I always an example? No. I make mistakes too. But I let them know that I'm real. I tell them my struggles. I tell them my hurts, my disappointments, even now. Because they got to know that I'm human and that I make mistakes. But all that matters to me is that they know when they're struggling, they think of me, Randy Leggett, and that he knows that I love him and I believe in him. That's all that matters to me. It breaks my heart when they're going through this, because I know what it's like when you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe you're ever going to change, and when you're so full of shame and guilt that you just want to die. I know what that's like. So that's why I don't give up. That's why I keep going. Is life easy? No, life is hard. And man, some days I'm tired. And some days I just want to lie down, but I don't. I get up and I keep going. I keep fighting. I fight for you guys. Because I know if I do it, then you're going to do it. And that's important to me. Because if I give up, then what hope is there for anybody else? And if I can do it, you can do it too. So believe in yourself, please. And know that there's a God up there that believes in you and who loves you. And that you were created in his image. And that was good. He didn't create garbage. He created it was good. The Bible says it was good. He looked around at his creation and said, that is good. But unfortunately, we messed it up. But it doesn't have to be that way. And know that no matter what you go through, no matter what people say to you, that you're a loser or whatever, you're not a loser. You're a child of God. You were created in his image. He gave us the ability. He gave us the strength to fight these things. He gave us the ability to think and to make the right choices. So please try to make the right choices. And if you don't know how, ask. There's always somebody out there that cares about you and who believes in you. Just find that person and hang on to them. And be willing to listen to what they have to say. even though there'll be times where it hurts and you think they're judging you, but they're not. And for those that are out there that think they're helping, don't point fingers. Don't judge these people. Most of these people are caring, loving people. They have hearts. That's why we were in the predicaments that we're in, because we care. Sometimes too much. And we take things to heart. And we got to learn to find a balance. We got to learn to set boundaries for ourselves. I have to learn to do that every day. But just know that you are a fine specimen of a human being. You just got to find that. You just have to believe that. You just have to just go out there and find it, without the alcohol, without the drugs, without the food, or without the food, whatever it is that you're struggling with. Know that God says that you are good, and He created you in His image. So my hope and my prayer is that those that are out there struggling, whatever it is that you're struggling with, know that there's somebody that loves you and believes in you. I don't even know you. I don't know who's going to watch this video, but I'm going to tell you right now, I believe in you. And that's why I'm here doing this, because I hope you hear this video and you watch this video. And know that here's a guy that was at the lowest of lows, who didn't want to live, who just wanted to stop breathing because he was so ashamed of himself and so full of guilt. And here I am today to say that, you know what, I'm proud of myself. I like who I am. Am I perfect? No. Do I make mistakes? Yeah. But that's how we learn. And if people want to point fingers at and say whatever they want about me, that's fine. I know who I am. And I like who I am. And when I make mistakes, I say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But all I want to do is to tell people that there's hope. And I'm so grateful that God's given me 30 years without the alcohol. So with that note, I'm going to say till the next time, now always remember that I love you and God loves you, and you can do it. Till we meet again, God bless you.